Oh yeah, 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. We're tuned in just in time for another episode of The Diary Room. The Diary Room. Guys, we are here on Halloween to discuss Big Brother 26.
What?
Guys, the season may have ended when the day was flipped. It was the 13th. That's the opposite of 31. It may have ended 2 weeks ago, but we are still hung up on it, on Big Brother 26. We were not here to discuss last week. I was busy in another time zone.
And we had to let the season marinate, of course.
You gotta let it marinate. And they let us free from the diary room for 1 week. It was the opposite of Janky World. It was real world. And now we're back. And we are going to do a little bit of a reflection on Big Brother 26, a season as a whole.
Big season.
Basically, we can't let it go. It was too Big Brother. Honestly, too good. Brother. Too big of a brother to let it go.
Of a brother.
And so we're just gonna yap. That's essentially the structure of this episode. Let's yap. But I will bring attention to, again, if you haven't finished the season, you're about to be majorly spoiled, because in the studio we do have Chris, just Chris, always have been, always will be Chris, wearing the crown of victory for his draft pick. Was the winner of BB26.
Woo!
And today I have the witch's hat of reflection.
Thinking about what you did.
Thinking about what I did. Thinking about my draft picks. And my last one standing, I've been worried about it all season. And then I had a little bit of hope. And then anyway, if you haven't caught up on Big Brother, they're about to be majorly spoiled.
Well, you've had 2 weeks.
You've had 2 weeks.
You've had 2 weeks.
There were 90 days in the house. We've been in this diary room. We have not left the studio until last week for our anti-janky week. We have been in here the whole time, locked in here. So we've been so locked in. Chris, where would you like to start?
I guess we can start with. So we've compiled a couple rankings based on our favorite house guests and favorite competitions. We've also compiled some thoughts about the AI twist and Ainsley and everything that is under that umbrella, and some overall thoughts. So we have a little sampler of everything. And I guess it's probably best if we start off by talking about our favorite house guests. I think that's a good place to start, to spark up some discussion.
Yes. I have my Bev now.
Yeah.
I have
observed the Bev grabbage
and shimmying back. This is a very fun chair. New chair in the diary room.
Oh, I love the diary room. New chair.
Better than the couch with the toenail clippings or whatever they found in the diary room. My favorite was when they did you watched that episode, right? I think that was
the recap one.
Yeah, the recap one. You did not? Oh, okay. There was a recap episode that honestly I've skipped in the past.
Yeah.
I don't mean to. It was just, pressed for time.
Yeah.
But they did a bit on like all the things that they found in the diary room, and one of them, Chemo spilled like water or something, and then everyone else went into the diary room. They're like, "Why is it wet?" They also found nail clippings. It's really, really tragic. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about favorite house guests. Now, we have notes and I blocked them out, but you know who it is.
I know who your number one is, obviously.
Who do you think it is?
But we can start from number 3 and work our way up.
Oh.
So who was your number 3 pick?
Okay. So
Actually, wait, you said you had honorable mention.
I did have an honorable mention. Maybe I'll mention
your honorable mention.
right now. My honorable mention is young Cedric.
I was literally going to say the same thing. My honorable mention is also young Cedric.
God,
I
too
didn't
soon.
have one, but
Mhm.
like I thought up one in the second when after you told me you had one.
Yeah.
And so I thought up and it was young Cedric.
Yeah.
Young Cedric did not make the list, unfortunately, but he still made my heart.
Well, Cedric, way back when we did our draft picks, my very first pick was Cedric.
Yeah.
I really liked his interview. I thought he was
Uh-huh.
a cutie, like just kind of like personable
Mhm.
kind of vibe. And
Exactly.
throughout the game, he proved to be
He was
such.
literally just that person. He was very like the same person that he was advertised.
Yes. And I liked it.
Yeah,
Well, the house did.
I agree.
So
And he was
gone
a little
too soon,
good.
young
He just got
Cedric.
unlucky.
He did.
Rest in peace to Cedric. I wonder if his dynamic would have changed because
Mhm.
like we kind of saw that with all of the fun. I guess like it's just kind of an intrinsic thing that comes with being one of the final house guests. But I don't really I feel like it was a lot more different in this season where like the the dynamic well, not really. I guess that's not the correct word to use. The personality of like all of the final house guests kind of shifted
Mhm.
the further they got into the game. And like I don't really know if I can think of an example of a previous season where that's happened so drastically and apparently than it did in this season. But like if you look back at some previous seasons, like it doesn't I don't know. Like are you picking up what I'm putting like I feel like Mackenzie's entire like demeanor, Chelsea's demeanor, everyone's like the way that they carried themselves just kind of shifted.
I feel like maybe that does have to do with jury. I feel
Yeah.
like some people are like, oh, just survive until jury and then after is the real game. Maybe that has something to do with it. Or maybe just the fact that now at, X amount of days when you happen to get to jury time, that's when you lose sense of reality outside of the house and you become the new in-house person. That's what I think happens, which is where Cedric did not make it that far,
Yeah.
where he didn't have the chance to kind of like lose that. And he just got super unlucky,
Yeah.
honestly. But I feel like people also recognize that he did have a good game, and that's why he was eliminated, as opposed to some other people who really had a bad game, and that's why they were eliminated, or were just like not a good person to be around. And that is across all seasons.
Hmm.
So maybe he didn't get to that point. I mean, we also get to like towards the end of the season, it just kind of gets boring anyway.
That's what I was gonna say,
Yeah.
like it might just be the fact that there's really not much going on.
Yeah.
They just get kind of more boring. But I even still like it just feels like the personality like all of the house guests that were there at the end just didn't have any like personality.
Hmm.
Besides like Chelsea. But that's like it.
I mean, yeah. No, I can't argue.
I don't really have any other way to put it.
Because I feel like even towards the end, so not like the final three, but like Rubina has a personality. She has like a fire to her
Yeah.
that
But
like
was it really
wasn't
like on
really-
display?
Yes. It's also like there's certain house guests that like in the house, like when they get eliminated, the second that they leave, I feel like they're a different person. The person that comes to mind was Heisem. Was that last season where he was in there and he was just kind of like very dry, very his only bit was like hating Corey. And then he got eliminated, and then immediately his exit interview was so like smiley, so fun, and like I was like, where was that in the house?
Time.
Where were you when I needed you most?
I did not. I don't remember a thing about last season.
That's
But I
okay.
do actually think Heisem was out early, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I remember him.
Mhm.
I probably saw him get evicted, honestly, but I really
Perchance.
just I don't know, it was just an interesting blurb.
Mhm.
But who is your number three?
My number three. Who do you think my number three is?
Okay. So I know who your number one is. And I'm gonna
They're not in order on the document, by the way.
oh mine are in order.
Mine were not in order. I just kind of jotted
You
things
just,
down.
yeah, but they're still blacked out, so you can You have the order. This is so I'm guessing you're number three, like it's in your head.
It's up here.
Okay. Is it Tucker?
No.
Okay.
One
Is
more
it
guess. It's a funny one.
is it chemo?
No. Would you like to know?
Yeah.
The Facebook moms are gonna hate me. I
Oh, you know, I really
love,
thought about she did not make my list.
love
I really thought about
Angela.
adding her though. I really thought about it.
I do actually, now that I think of it, I do have another honorable mention that I can mention later, but I've already honored one. I do love Angela, and I know it's controversial. I know it's controversial.
She's probably like my number five.
Okay.
I think I would put her at number five if I'm honest.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I, as a viewer, loved watching her. I thought she
Yeah.
was hilarious.
No,
And
exactly.
people got actually upset about it, which made me love her even more because I think it's funny.
I think
People are like that pressed about it because I am just so impressed by her game, and I don't even know if what she did was fully intentional.
intentional. Uh-huh.
She just did it. She's just like that.
Yeah.
I think to get a veto used on you that many times, her reactions to it, wearing the same shirt every time. Have you seen that people are dressing up as her for Halloween?
I did see someone dress up.
They're
as
wearing
her.
like the blue and white striped button up
Yeah.
with the power of veto with glasses, and their mouths are open. They're like, you're using the veto. I do not care that other people do not like her. I have always said, say what you will about Angela. She played a great game.
She did.
They needed to get her out.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't for funsies. They did
No, she was
genuinely need to get
too
her out.
good.
Because if she made it to the end,
She had the best case.
come on.
Out of literally everyone. Even if the only person who had like the resume to beat her, it would like the only final two that would be able to beat her would be like Tucker. But she wouldn't take Tucker with her.
No, because
Tucker was gonna go the moment that he got on the block and it was in the position to be voted for, he was gonna get voted out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think that to go based on what ended up happening, where again, spoilers, if you didn't finish this season, I'm sorry. When Mackenzie brought Chelsea, that was her. I don't know if that was the dumbest move of her game or her second, but I know the top two. I do not think that Angela would have made that kind of mistake. I feel like she's the kind of person who recognizes, takes her out of it and be like, okay, if I was watching the show, what would I hope that this person did to win? And she would be able to win, which is why she was dangerous and they needed to get her out. I think she played a fantastic game. She was a lot
smarter than we thought. And she also was smart when it mattered.
Yes.
Like case in point, finale night. Finale night shows a lot of cards with a lot of people because if someone could make the silly decision to vote for somebody based on a personal vote, but she still decided to vote for Chelsea because she just knew she had such a better game.
Yeah, she recognizes that.
She's a lot smarter than we think.
I think it
number 3.
I think it, which is why she's up there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you go to your number 3?
Number 3 was Chelsea. I had to give credit to my girl. She winner of BB26. Hello. Duh. My draft pick.
And you called that really early. Like
really thought I knew she was a smart player.
You did.
I clocked it super early. I knew that something was special about Chelsea. And it really like the only thing she was kind of missing, but that wasn't even like I'm not even gonna say that a big alliance was something that she was missing because this season was so unique in the sense that there was no big alliance for longer than like 2 weeks, however long the Pentagon was, or whatever you want. All the 5 like the biggest alliance this season. It wasn't the stuff with Angela. Well, that wasn't like a real alliance, but like let's say, what was it called again? The Collective. The Collective was 6, I believe.
That sounds right.
I think
Was that the
so.
one where she's like, I could be at the bottom?
That was no.
No,
The
that was a
collective
different
was
one.
the one that Angela got mad at.
Oh, that was like day
Yeah, that's what
-2.
I'm
I
saying. Like
remember now.
that was but that was the biggest alliance form.
And then that didn't work, and that was the
So
start of none.
yeah,
Only baby
basically, it
alliance.
was like 5 people max
Mm-hmm.
because we had Fifth Avenue,
Yeah.
which was the Tucker thing, and then when that split up after Tucker left or whoever left first, then we kind of just delved into trios,
Mm-hmm.
duos, and that's why I love this season so much.
I love that I can't remember. Like there were
That
so
was
many
like the one
things.
thing I remember all of this because usually I remember a lot about alliances and how much they piss me off because I just hate when the big alliance go and steamroll the whole
Yes.
game and it's the same 8 people every single week making the decisions. So when it's
Mm-hmm.
a different thought process every week from a different side of the house, you get to see a lot more perspective and it just creates a more dynamic game that I enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
significantly this year. And I really, really hope, well, this was just kind of a stroke of luck. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think this is probably a one-time thing. I
Yeah.
doubt it's probably gonna happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that Chelsea stuck with her original day one Cam adopted Mackenzie. Adopted her like a freaking puppy.
Shout out my dogs at the crib.
Shout out to all my dogs at the crib. Chelsea is the dogs.
Chelsea is the dog.
Chelsea turned out to be the dogs. I remember when we did our draft, though, I didn't think it sounds rude to be like, I didn't think much of her, but I was kind of neutral. I was like, okay, she seems fine. And then I remember that you got her on your draft, and I was like, that's okay. Well, look at me now.
Okay.
The witch hat of reflection, and I reflect that that was a dumb move on my part.
No, exactly.
And she was great. And
It's
then,
always the people that you don't suspect.
yeah, I feel like there were because one of the things that I did not like, just one moment of when Joseph was evicted, where he's like, "Oh, maybe if I was in a normal season." I'm like, "Bro, if he was in a normal season, then he could have done better." Like, no, a normal season is not normal. That is literally what the show is based on, is expecting the unexpected, bro. What did you think was gonna happen?
There's always gonna be a weird thing that
Yeah.
happens every season.
She was fantastic at adapting to what was going on,
Oh,
navigating what was going
so
on.
good.
Whereas other people, maybe honestly, like Cam, could have benefited from what
A big
Joseph would
alliance.
describe as a normal season, where if there was one giant alliance, and then maybe he would have the chance to I mean, he never really got the chance to dominate games. Like he was there, he could have, but he didn't. But maybe other people could have benefited from normal, but we knew it wasn't normal when someone like Matt got eliminated week 1. Because someone like Matt would normally stay longer.
And I mean, like that it's just my favorite strength of the season,
Mm-hmm.
which just part of my overall thoughts.
Yeah.
One little blurb.
All right.
Now,
Well, Chelsea number 3.
my number 3. Enough about Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
We got bigger fish to fry. I guess I'll go into my number 2.
Yeah.
My number 2 was Quinn.
Ooh.
My number 2 was Quinn. I know the jig is up. I enjoyed Quinn. I really did. He had some sour notes for me, but he did play such a respectable game
Mm-hmm.
that I just kind of had to shoe him in there because I was looking at a photo of the cast list
Mm-hmm.
and I really couldn't think of any other person who I would rather have in this spot. I mean, like, I'm too low on Angela to consider her. I don't really know. I feel like her or Cedric would be interchangeable for my number 4 spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about putting Leah here because I kind of just like but Leah was in terrible favors with me until Janky,
Yeah,
and then she got eliminated immediately. So she only had a couple weeks to shine.
I will butt in here and say that she was my second honorable mention.
Really?
I had her on that list because again, like I was kind of neutral on her, especially like at the beginning. Actually,
I didn't like her.
her.
Yeah, I didn't like her at the beginning at all.
Yeah,
and I was just so floored by the fact that she got in favor so high,
yeah,
so quickly.
yeah. Then I liked her.
Yeah.
Then she's gone. But I feel like I didn't have enough to go on to put her in that top 3. I would say I feel like Cedric and her are pretty
One in the same.
similar in my ranking.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Mhm.
The same exact like dynamic that I like them, but they were gone before I could form a solid opinion on them, which is why Quinn stuck around long enough to get a solid opinion. And even despite the times when he became villain of the week.
He wanted to. That
Yeah,
was his goal.
I don't really like that type of gameplay. It's all right. Like I can respect it, which is why he's here, because I'll respect that type of game. Because you're trying to game, you're trying to at least play, you're doing something, you know.
Do you want to know what Quinn thinks about your opinion? Thoughts?
You're sick nasty. You're incredible. You looked really cool in yellow.
Thank you.
like
Reminded me of the Minions.
I like your smile.
He likes your smile, Chris.
Treat people with
You
kindness.
treat people with kindness.
That's so nice.
Well,
Yeah. Who's your number 2?
my number 2.
Tell me. Tell me.
It was Tucker. Do you think it
okay.
was number 1?
Huh?
Did you think that was my number 1 or my
No,
number 2?
no.
Yeah, you get
I
it. You
know,
get it. Tucker was my number 2. Anyone listening may argue that I sound like a casual, so be it, because of America's favorite.
Okay,
But I love Tucker.
okay,
I'm not
I'm
afraid
gonna
to say
spoil
I
it
love
right
it.
now because we both know who each other's number 1 is, and I need to talk about this right now because I have an objection to that statement. My number 1 is Tucker.
And my number 1 is Quinn.
Tucker is the objective best player of the season, and I don't want to hear any other arguments. I'll
Okay.
hear out Quinn.
Okay.
It's a special case with Mole, and I understand it, and you're heard.
Okay. Thank you. I will hear you as
I
well.
don't think that Tucker should be considered the basic top pick
Mm-hmm.
when the other house guests that we're working with is Brooklyn and Cam.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, yeah, you have T-Core, and that's also like you can have like personal attachments to other good players who played, but like those are who's gonna be making up like the middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
Tucker went on a absolute rampage for like what 5 weeks,
5 weeks.
however long it was.
Mm-hmm. It was like
Just
I think week 2 was
yes,
the start of
week
of
2 was the start.
I would say villain arc. I feel like yes, villain arc because we both picked villains in their own right. They're both like that in opposite yet so incredibly
They're like
similar
2 sides of
ways.
the same coin. Tucker
Exactly.
and Quinn.
The diary room coin.
The diary.
You flip it, you get an evil arc. Either way.
This was my favorite like storyline of the season
Mm-hmm.
because they were just duking it out,
Yeah,
and it was fun to watch.
I loved it. It
Everyone
was
else was
fantastic.
just supporting cast,
Yeah, they were,
and
which
I'm
is
not
why
even
they.
mad about it.
That's why they needed to get them out.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is so I love Tucker. I think he was a great to watch when he is in New York City. I hope I am as well. I want to run
I
into
need to
him
get a
so
selfie
badly.
with Tucker.
I feel like I'm very comfortable here at the station. I feel like in certain pockets I'm good with talking to people, but generally I won't walk up to people. I get very nervous.
Yeah.
I think if I see that man in public, I'm losing my mind because I know he will match my freak.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I would like to experience. I loved watching him. I think he was great at competitions. He was also pretty decently. I think he was as good at his social game as he was bad at
Tucker
it.
had a very severely underrated social game.
Yeah.
The fact that he managed to he was cordial with his enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think another like yin and yang type dynamic that him and Quinn had
Mhm.
was the fact that they managed to be like allies in a sense. And like
Enemies to lovers.
yeah. And they were
That's all I
cordial
wanted.
with each other.
Yeah. One huge thing leaving this season is like I don't think there's anyone who's genuinely evil
No.
or a bad
No,
person. There's
Brooklyn.
some on the border. There's some. I think Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is one of my least favorite.
Yeah, we could talk about least favorite. Like,
Oh yeah,
maybe.
I didn't even think about least favorite.
We'll go into that
It'd take
too.
a little while to talk about least favorites, honestly. But
The reason for me,
yeah,
that Tucker is below Quinn was quite literally he got eliminated first because he went a little too hard.
I
mean,
just like that.
But that's why he's number 2 for
That's
me. He's
fair.
still up there because I thought it was great. He played hard. He wasn't afraid. Where, like we said before, there's a lot of people who just kind of chill out until jury, and then they say, well, jury is when the game begins. And Tucker's looking at it like, we're in the game right now, guys. Hello. And I appreciated that. I liked watching it. I think he will be back. I hope he'll be back.
Oh, there's actually zero chance they don't bring him back for an all-star season.
I bet he will be in like the challenge. He's gonna
but I
be in
feel
like
like-
some of their other shows. I would love to see him on TV again. But honestly, again, America, he's literally America's favorite player. That I feel like inviting him onto another show will get people to start watching it. Because I don't watch like TV that much. This is the show for me.
Yeah.
Put him on Amazing Race, suddenly I'm watching it.
Yeah.
So CBS.
I feel like if they put him on Big Brother again, he might get targeted
I think immediately.
and get
That's the only
taken out,
problem.
like really fast.
Unless it is unless it's an all-star season.
That's what
Because
I'm
I
saying.
think-
Yeah, if
well,
they put him on
Because
on an
there's
all-star
all-star seasons, but then there's the seasons when they bring some people back and then there's some newbies.
Oh yeah,
I
no.
feel like
was
if you
like,
bring-
if I feel like even still,
I think it then if it's a fully all-stars cast, it would depend on the other people.
That's
Because
true.
He's a lot,
Yeah.
but he will win competitions. If you're aligned with him, you want him to stay in the house.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think it could go either way.
The fact that he is such a good competitor
Yeah.
and so able to formulate crazy moves and stuff, like
Mhm.
you want to have that in your corner.
Yes.
And
I would.
if it gets out of hand, I mean, maybe it'd probably just end whenever he's like not it's not comfortable enough to keep him around.
Mm-hmm.
But like even still, that's like kind of a part of his game. Like you don't know when that is gonna
Yeah.
happen.
So that's kind of where I put him in the number 2 spot because I wish he at some point he relied too heavily on the comp wins.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm gonna see you in the AI arena and like just like you and me and then unfortunately he put himself in a position where all it took was one loss and then he was out the door. However, number 1, I'm not gonna argue that either.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was the only America's favorite houseguest that like has zero competition. He was gonna win it. The moment.
Oh yeah. We knew from like week 3.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're like, yeah, that's and this was the first time that AFP was a pre-juror. And when I voted though, I did not vote for Tucker because I knew my vote wouldn't count. I knew it wouldn't matter at that point. But obviously based on my top 3, I voted for Angela and Quinn. And I think I said this last episode too, that I really so badly, more than I wanted Quinn to win favorite player, I wanted him to be in that top 3 because of weeks prior when America voted to put him on the block.
Yeah.
I think America did it for the bit. We did it for the plot. That's exactly what we did. It's not because people hated Quinn. It's because people wanted the drama and really liked Tucker.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that he was on there because I wanted him to have that confidence. Sweet little Quinn. I love Quinn. Do we have more Tucker before I start yapping about Quinn? Because I already have.
Yeah, I mean, like, Tucker is Tucker, and all of my rankings, I kind of just like thought about it from a standpoint of who do I like most as a person, who had a cool game, and I think Tucker had the my favorite blend of all of factors of
Hmm.
the Big Brother. Um, but all of my picks that I've talked about so far had something individually that was unique to them that I really enjoyed, and I thought this cast, well, at least the top end of this cast was very, very well done.
Hmm.
And that's a lot, that's saying, because they don't always hit the marks.
Yeah. Well, before I yap more about the love of my life, just kidding. Unless, hi Quinn. Um, I will mention that I realize it's kind of funny that literally the winner of Big Brother is not even in my top five. I
But
think
that's fair.
Chelsea played a great game. She was like okay to me. I feel like I wasn't rooting for her. I wasn't not rooting for her. I feel like when she won, it was fitting.
Yeah.
And I think it's also because I like the drama. I think it would have been really funny at the end if he didn't win. But obviously there's no universe out there where she couldn't have. But I don't know, just to mention that I feel like she did fine. And I mean, obviously she's got a lot of money, so it doesn't matter what my opinion is. But she's not quite up there, which I think is interesting. And I think it was because she was really good at the game, but kind of
Just had such a
quietly
good game.
until the end when it was like really showcased because there were few people, because they got the huge personalities out a lot earlier, especially with the first jury member. I love Quinn. I love Quinn so bad. I loved watching him. I know it's for the same thing where people will complain they don't like Angela. People will complain like, "Oh, Quinn, stop yelling in the diary room. Please keep yelling in the diary room." I think it's because I would like to imagine that if I was on Big Brother, I would be a Quinn type character. I genuinely think I would be much more quiet. I would be floating. I'd probably be more like a chemo, to be so honest. I kind of like latch on to someone and be like, let's go sit in the corner and be quiet and make some decisions. LMAO and eat some ramen. And but I feel like in everyday life I could be more of like a Quinn character, and I feel like as I smack the keyboard into the desk, I loved watching him. I thought he was hilarious. I loved the level of super fan that he is, that he would even make references to stuff that I didn't even recognize and the house didn't even recognize. I loved watching him. I feel like he was dramatic. I loved that one episode. I believe it was the Cedric elimination where there was the slow zoom in on his face as he was crying through the credits. I thought that's drama. I could not have written this better myself, and it's a reality TV show. And that's what I'm looking for. I demand to be entertained, and I feel like Quinn did that, and he was a little cringe at times, but I feel like he's just a cutie and super into Leah, super sick nasty. And then I come to find out that sick nasty is just a phrase of his that was not specific to that conversation. He just says this all the time. And Quinn, if you're listening, I'd like you to know that's in my everyday vocabulary now. It is not gone. And I've been so obsessed with the show and so into Quinn to the point that I did go to Seattle last week for college broadcasters.
Oh God.
And while I was in the hotel,
Oh no.
I found Quinn's vase. I told you about this, right?
I
Or
saw
no?
the photo.
I was so happy. I don't smile like that wide unless it is for Quinn's vase. I had a friend literally take a photo of me sitting on the floor of this like ballroom looking thing, and I put it on Twitter. And all I did was hashtag BB26, and I got more likes on that tweet than any other tweet that I've ever tweeted, and which isn't saying much.
Came up on my feed.
It did.
I mean, like, we followed. It wasn't on my following. It was on like my whatever the for you equivalent of Twitter is.
Yeah.
Look through my.
Yeah, no,
following.
it's
It's literally called for you. It came up on my for you. And I only see a few of your only your bangers come up on my For You.
Thank you. I try. And my display name is still Emol Sick Nasty. That's what I've got going on in there. But yeah, I tweeted again, it is 864 views. Which isn't that much compared to other people. Someone bookmarked it, which I think is hilarious. I was like, I'm gonna need this for later.
I need to know where to find Quinn's vase.
And I was so very happy. Yeah, I'm smiling with my teeth in that photo. That means, I mean it. It wasn't a silver version of it though. But I literally, I was in and out of these rooms and I looked at it and I realized so quickly a celebrity was in the room with me. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you look up like BB26 Quinn vase, there's several photos of him hugging this. Is it even a vase? It's like I don't know what else you would call it.
Thing.
I feel like a vase would be open, more like this little statue looking thing. There's pictures of him with it and Tucker and Leah, and they all just kind of like it was like their stuffed animal, but it was probably ceramic. I don't know. Anyway, I heart Quinn. I hope that he comes back. I think it would be really funny if they put him and Tucker in anything, and then look, he's so happy. What did you look up? Is that what you looked up?
I looked up BB26 Quinn vase.
I tried to do the photo too. I tried to be so happy with this thing. But anyway, because now we're 43 minutes into the episode and we've only talked about our favorite.
Oh my gosh.
I love Quinn. Shout out to Quinn. Who's your least favorite player?
My least favorite player is Brooklyn. I made this super clear. I feel like I don't want to talk about this anymore because I don't even want to waste my energy talking about Brooklyn. I don't like Brooklyn.
I'm gonna agree. That's what I'm gonna do. Because leaving the season again, I feel like no one is really a mean person.
Yeah, I don't.
Angela's borderline.
Like anybody.
I think Angela is borderline. Sometimes she could just say things that come to her mind without filtering. We don't know enough about Matt. We do not know enough about Lisa. I didn't love that she put glitter in people's
Lisa. She was weird. She's probably my second least favorite, I guess.
And Kenny's up there for me.
Bro
just wanted to leave. But
I thought Kenny was silly. I liked Ken. He wasn't like a good player by any stretch of the means. But like I thought he was silly. I thought it was funny.
I don't think he's a bad person.
No.
I feel like Brooklyn kind of has this
Brooklyn's just
hater
she
energy.
Literally ate Angela charcuterie just to be a hater.
And she's like trying to defend it.
Exactly.
Girl. Even if you think that Angela overreacted, if you're making someone feel like that, I don't know.
She was a have-not, and she was already in emotional distress.
Come on, bro. You're gonna steal her charcuterie stuff? Bro, that's low. That's personal. Exactly. But yeah, those are our favorite players. And now that we have 2 minutes left, no, just kidding. We could talk about favorite comps.
I have a list of my favorite comps actued.
You compiled this a lot better.
This is kind of set in stone though.
Okay, what I will do, I will jump in as I go. For my thoughts on the competitions is just the overall thought of I loved this season. Yeah. It was fantastic. I'm gonna let you take it away.
So I kind of thought, like, I kind of took the first three that jumped to my mind immediately because those are the first three that like made a strong enough impression on me to the point where I would think about them in that kind of situation. Basically, I don't really know how else to explain it. But my number three that immediately jumped to my mind was the bot building competition, the one that Leah won, the veto. That one, you remember that? During Janky. It was the Janky one. The Janky veto.
Was this
the one that Leah won where she built where they built the black box where they go in the dark area and build the robot. The one that
wasn't Janky.
Yeah, it was.
No, Janky. I don't think that was Janky. That's why I was confused.
Oh,
that was
because
Joseph was there.
Joseph was there. Oh yeah, wait.
Joseph didn't was that? Janky. It was earlier because that was the one. The only thing I remember about the competition was that Joseph just kind of sat there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was earlier. The Janky ones were the marshmallow one and the candy one.
Oh, it was the candy one. Yeah. Right. I forgot.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot the timeline of events.
I know Joseph was in that
However,
competition.
yes, Joseph was in that competition. He sat there. That was funny.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. At the time, obviously. No, well, at the time. And it was also the start of this is why I remember this, because I thought it was janky, because it was the start of the I don't hate Leah anymore. I think Leah's kind of cool.
Okay.
And
that's when she looks great in yellow.
that also was when she looked great in yellow. I thought it was it was a very pivotal moment for the season. I started to enjoy more of the house guests, and my opinion started shifting. This is when I started to dislike Joseph.
I do remember discussing this.
Yeah,
because you were very pro Joseph.
I was very pro Joseph, and then this was like the straw
turned it
that
around,
broke the camel's back.
Ouch.
But it put me in the favor of Leah. And I also just love the black box competition as a concept, because I feel like I would be either really bad at it or really good at it. Like, I don't think I would be average. I don't think I would come in second. I feel like I would have 0 pieces, or I would be the greatest to ever do it. And I have no idea why. But I love those competitions.
I would do so poorly.
Yeah.
It's not even funny.
I don't know.
It
But
would be funny. It actually would be funny, but I wouldn't laugh.
and for my number 2, I have the final HOH, but the second part, for the sake of
The
narrative.
yeah,
I thought that was
Yeah.
really fun.
I'm laughing because of the outcome.
Exactly. The outcome, the setup, all the story
Yeah,
of like taking down Ainsley. I thought that was just so funny.
I thought it was great.
And it was really well done. Like, they got a freaking crow to fly the directions in. Like, and Derek came back.
Exactly.
We had Derek. We had
which was foreshadowing, by the way, for how the season would end.
we had Derek. We had the ending where when Mackenzie like dropped the heart into the vat, and it yeah, and we had Ainsley yell and die, and that was real cool. I thought that was like, the production really outdid themselves with that one, but it wasn't my favorite competition, because my favorite competition was hiding. It was so easy.
Press.
It was just so easy. I think that it was just the easiest pick ever, because I got to watch Brooklyn suffer, and
I liked the outcome of that. The funny thing is you say that, and I know we spoke about it. That is one of my least favorite competitions. But I think it's because it frustrates me to my core, because I would never want to intentionally ruin my living space like this.
oh no, like, yeah.
I think that overshadows my
Too bad I'm
appreciation
not-
for the comp.
Oh, I'm not in the no.
I'm
I
not
don't
saying you
want to
advocate.
experience it. I don't want to experience hiding a veto, but watching it on TV is so fun, and I love it. And I love to watch Brooklyn get and all of the Pentagon just like implode on themselves. Joseph didn't win. Who won this one? This was
Tucker won.
Tucker won.
Yeah,
this
he
one.
put his
'Cause he put it
card
under
in
the thing.
between.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because I think Quinn tried to do that or something similar, which still shows that they're one and the same. No, Joseph came in second place. I believe, because he just kind of threw it somewhere. He wanted to throw the competition, so he put it wherever, and then he almost won, and he's like, guys, come on. And Mackenzie at that point was really proud of her hiding spot, and I believe Tucker found it first.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Brooklyn's that was hidden in
Brooklyn's
Quinn's stuff. And
then
Quinn's like,
Quinn found it
hello,
immediately.
I'm not that neat. And knew something was wrong immediately. I really, that fueled my frustrations with Brooklyn. I feel like it was unnecessary,
And it
but
was so silly by Quinn.
yeah, it was wow. That okay, to participate in that competition, that would be one of my least favorite. Your third favorite would also be one of my least favorite to participate in. But for the sake of this season and the outcome of it, I feel like it was great.
Yeah.
Now,
I wish I could have put Otev on here.
You know,
I really wish I could have
I-
put Otev on
I
here.
don't know what my favorite would be, but I have to say that in terms of highlights of the season, that is one of my favorite and least favorite
Oh,
parts
yeah.
of the season
I
simultaneously.
think it's just so cool that it was like a thing that like just happened, but for the fact that it was for Otev, it's kind
Yeah.
of soured me a little bit.
It's
'cause
frustrating.
Otev is like my favorite competition, like
Mhm.
out of the general competitions that they do.
It's a staple.
It just ended in one round, and I didn't get to watch Otev.
The funny thing, talking about these comps specifically, is Mackenzie was thinking she's so smart for hiding her thing in the house in the place that it was found first. In the same season that she is the winner of the 1 round OTEV, that this is BB26, keeping you on your toes. She's completely falling on her face in one comp, and then she's winning the entire thing in just 1 round, which I feel like, unfortunately for Mackenzie, is not as much of a reflection on her as it is the other house guests.
I think it's a reflection on her and the house guests actually, because the
yeah.
fact that she just kind of, I mean, it's
She stuck to what
she
she knew.
unintentionally, yeah, she unintentionally does a lot of other things, but like this, the OTEV thing was very intentional, and so like that, I mean, she's not a bad player.
No,
I'm not gonna sit here and act like she's a bad player, but she is not the greatest
I think
one.
she was just as good at that comp as the rest were bad. And I'm glad that, it is honestly a reflection of her, because she at least stuck to her answer. I am curious what they would have done if they all got it wrong. I guess they would have just like
moved on.
gone to the next one
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, that was awkward." I wonder if they even would have shown it.
They definitely would have. Like, I think it would have probably just been
Crickets would play.
Yeah, some like embarrassing moment, and then
Yeah.
like, okay, let's move on. Yeah.
I I'll do a little shout out to BB Comics, because I just love the art aspect of it. I think it's
I
cute. I
didn't
think
like
it's
BB
unique.
Comics this year because it was too late.
I did not like that they didn't commit to bits with okay. General, I love shout out to my dogs at the crib. I think it's one of the funniest bits from the season. And the problem is that it was not his comic, because it was just a diary room thing. But then they made it not a diary room thing, and then Julie started saying it, and then the moment the other house guest knew about it, the bit was ruined. It's like when there's a popular song on TikTok, there's a meme, and then it's in a commercial. It's like, oh,
yeah,
you killed it, like they killed Janky. But I overall loved the competitions.
Great competition.
I loved that there was a decent amount of luck-based ones. There were the shortest wall competition, I believe, on record, is so funny to me.
I'm not really a huge fan of the wall competition as like a concept. Until like the end, usually.
I would also
when
do
they
horrible
start bargaining.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's my favorite part when they start.
Did they ever do the competition? I don't think they did this year, where they are rotating in a circle and they're smacked in the face by something.
No.
They didn't do it this year.
No.
What's up with that? What's up? Production, you
because
are not
usually
the
they
host.
do that like part 1 final HOH sometimes.
Well, no, there's like
Remember
a group of people.
I didn't last year, or not last year, 2 years ago was I know that at one point it was final HOH.
Maybe. I mean, it
like-
doesn't matter. It is just overall endurance
Yeah.
comp. But they didn't do that this time.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
dude, we have so much to talk about. Now we only got a couple more minutes. Let's get into the
Speedrun thoughts.
overall arc of Ainsley and the theme of the season. I loved it.
They hit it out of the park.
Yes.
I think that the AI thing was gonna go awry because it was AI.
I was like cringing. I was like, this is not going to be good. I'm not going to like it. When they first introduced Ainsley, what she looked like, I was like, hello. And we started our account, the diaryroom.wmsc, which I will continue yapping about the season on for a little bit. But my very first promotional thing for our show, this was the song that I chose to go with it. We'll play. I was like, this is gonna be a joke of a season. This is so embarrassing.
How fun.
How am I gonna tell people that I seriously watched this show? And we got used to what Ainsley looked like, and I feel like it was great. It was I feel like the villain arc was a little out of left field.
I
How did that
really liked
happen?
the villain.
But I liked it. I wish there was a little bit more of a transition, though I guess there was. There were some, like,
I think that it was gradual enough.
I think it was because she's like, help me take over the world. I mean, get the veto or something like that. So I think I liked it was a social commentary on AI and what it's doing to society and whatever. I liked it.
Like,
And I like that it culminated in the end, it all built up to the competition that you talked about where they killed her. R.I.P. Ainsley. And I loved their facial reactions to it between Mackenzie and Chelsea. Who broke the fourth wall in the best way possible and throughout the whole finale. And I thought that was great. I loved the story. I would give this theme, dare I say, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10
I
because
also would give it a 9.
I want them to work for the next season. I thought it was great.
No 10s here. You gotta get another 9 or another 10.
But please do something like this again because it was so good. And I really would like to see another great season like this.
Now, speaking of, but kind of going into the topic also of twists, because part of the twist with the theme was the AI arena. I loved the AI arena.
So good. Please bring back. It added such a much needed layer of depth to the week, especially on eviction night.
Mm-hmm.
And they really hit the nail on the head because I mean, I guess I don't know if they like surveyed America for this, but they were like, well, America wants to see more stuff on eviction night.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just gave us the AI arena.
Good. Please. Please rename it for the next season.
Yeah.
Production. You're listening. I loved it. I loved the uncertainty. If I was in the season, I would have hated it. But we are also in a season where from day one, there was no unanimous voting. I don't think there was any unanimous until Leah was evicted. And I feel like that makes for a great season. It goes along the same thing you were saying before. It wasn't like one big group dominating. And I feel like part of that has to do with, well, the day of, you have no idea if it's between these two people or these two people or the other two people. And they didn't know and they had to figure it out as they went. And I feel like that made for a very dynamic season. I do not want to see the AI arena getting lost in the AI only season. I would like them to bring it back.
I rename it.
I also have to bring attention to the best little guy of the season.
Little guy.
Janky. I love Janky. I would have hated living in Janky World because I don't go outside. I think
That's a crazy sentence.
am I wrong? I feel like I would get sick of the ice cream and the pizza and the singing, but I think that Janky is just a little guy. What they did to him was brutal, but I'm really glad that he's alive now and alive in my heart here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. And I love the arc of I knew they were gonna do it. I knew they were gonna bring him back. He's too cute of a little guy.
A little guy.
They need to sell merchandise. That's why they're gonna bring him back. I love Ainsley's gone, and everyone's like, okay, goodbye. It's like, wait, there's something in the house. Oh, I'm so glad. I was so happy about that. I love the Janky arc, and I feel like he was just a little cutie. And we're beyond wrapping up the show. But I want to bring up in my 3 a.m. days, I wrote some honorable mention moments of the season. One of the things was no Julie Chen, for the very first time in 26 seasons, and unfortunately for Quinn, ended up being the one who was not interviewed of all people, not interviewed by Julie Chen, but he handled it like a champ. Is has a friendship with Jerry now. And the Matrix I had to bring up, but I can't bring it up too much. No. But I think it was a really funny thing. I want to go back and listen to what they had Matt say because it was hilarious. What was it? It was like, did you ever realize that every no number has
No
this letter in it?
number has
Was it like the letter A? I don't remember what it was like.
2.
1, no A. 2, no A.
I think it was
3,
A.
no A. See, there's no A.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, there's like 8. Now this one confused me.
Oh yeah, it is an A. Yeah.
Number 8 was confusing to me, and I thought that was the funniest thing. I want them to do something else like that in the future, and that's all I can say on the Matrix. Are there any other like big moments that come to mind for you?
In terms of like other like little stuffs besides like janky, the Matrix, I didn't really do anything. Like I remember the what's it called? The wild robot little part was funny and silly.
That was cute.
I like when they do that because it's a little like it's like whatever, especially like when they did the Ariana Grande concert the other the other season. You remember that? Do you remember when they
The
did that?
Ariana Grande concert.
Yes. They sent Frankie, and I don't remember who was with him. But they sent them to an Ariana Grande concert.
I don't remember this.
I remember this.
I just remember when they had BB Rexa on because she's BB. And I was like, "Aw, that's
When
so
was
silly
that?
of you guys." It's all mushing together for me. With it being BB 26, that also means this is officially 10 seasons since I really started understanding what I was watching because my brain started working with BB 16.
Oh, so it was Vanessa's season
Oh, was
because
that 17?
17 or 18
Mhm.
some of the whatever. It was that season in that when Liz the sister chose Vanessa to go with her and Frankie Grande to an Ariana Grande concert because because Liz won a competition. Or I think it might have been a power or something. I just remember the concert.
That's so silly. I like when they have those comps. I think it's very funny when they make them be a little over the top
Yeah.
when they're like, wow, I really want to watch this
Advertising.
movie. Yeah, they're basically just like advertising it. Though I did think it was really cute when Angela's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the grandbabies. I was like, you're gonna make me cry, Angela. But I liked the competition itself. I thought it was really cute. And I didn't know that people like knew about this movie. I went to the office and I think it was our assistant
I actually
video.
heard it was really good.
It was Scott went to go see it, our assistant video director, and I was like, Scott, do you know about Big Brother? And he's like, no. So then I mansplained it. I mole-splained it. But I thought I thought it was really cute, but it was very complicated to
Yeah,
me.
I think I probably would have gotten angry.
I think that honestly is one of those comps that I think I would have done really poorly in, or I'd be really great. I feel like it would snap into my mind immediately, or I would never get it, and I'd be in there for actual hours.
Yeah. But overall, I am gonna miss this season. And I'm really looking forward to the next All-Star season. We need one.
Like, part of me thinks yes.
I think it's next. I think
But
there's a
part of
very high
me-
chance that they do one next.
Part of me wants new people.
I
Like,
also want new people.
as long as they're like this. But also, okay, so
Trust the production to have lightning strike twice.
I think Big Brother 26, no, Big Brother 16 is what I meant. Is just kind of a fan favorite overall. And it's the stressed out to 21 Pilots is 16 to Big Brother. You know what I mean? And I remember watching this season. I really loved it. I loved the dynamic between the people. I liked the gameplay. I loved the character arcs and the personalities. And then so 17 fell flat for me. And I just remember being like super like neutral to not really liking it. And I feel like it's because it was after a really great season. However, like I said, that's when I really started gaining consciousness. I don't remember what year season 16 was in. Would it be like 2014? I assume. That's when I was 12. My brain started working. I am afraid that like compared to this season, that maybe 27 could fall flat. And I don't know if the right answer is All Stars or not
I
because
think the
people
right answer
complain
is
about
All
All Stars.
Stars. But if they
I
cast it well enough,
Mhm.
then like there can be no complaining about All Stars because you're still getting Big Brother.
Yeah.
Like I get the allure of a new season is new people, but if you put the right people,
hmm
it's still interesting to see them interact when like you normally wouldn't. It's still like a new season. You're not like
Yeah.
getting gypped out on anything. And also, it's probably for the better because these players that you're bringing back, if you put them in strategically enough, they're going to be good players
hmm
or fan favorites who are good for TV. So it's not like you're going to get a boring season. You're not
hmm
running any risk and you're still creating interesting interaction.
What I want more.
I rest my case.
You may rest. You may rest because the what I don't like about sometimes All Stars things, what I didn't love about reindeer games was I knew the players too much. They were all too recent of
Yeah.
players. They were
Yeah.
fan favorites or least favorites, depending on who you are, of the game, where I kind of had an idea of like what was gonna go down, and all that kind of stuff. I want more than anything for an all-star season of just free jury members. I don't want to see one day I would love to see, and it's ironic because this involves Quinn. Like Quinn was on the jury, which means that my ideal all-stars would exclude him, which is contradictory. But
Really?
because I would love to see Quinn again. I want to see like first out. I want to
I don't
see
really want to
first
see
out
first
because I
out.
want to see what they would do.
Yeah,
do wanna
but do
see
you
what they
think
would
that would
do.
be boring?
No, because I feel like it would be as boring as having random house guests.
True.
You know, we know them so little.
I
And
guess.
give them another chance. However,
I
it would be awful to be the first one out on a first one out only All-Star season.
well,
It would
there
be
has
all
to be
and it wouldn't
some.
be all stars. It would be all losers. It would be all losers, BB27. And Matt's there, and some other person calls him Crazy Eyes, and he's out the door, number one again. I think it would be interesting because it would be the tiniest step above just having random people. But at least we kind of know who they are. They would have a second chance. However, I mean, obviously, I want to see someone like Quinn back, but maybe the players would know too much. Production. If you see Emily McCormack apply for casting and you just want to put Quinn Martin in that same season, I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying, hypothetically, it would be so much fun for the people, for America, and for me. And no, in all seriousness, I feel like we would be good friends. And I hope I run into Quinn and Sick Nasty. And I think he's so funny. I feel like I just I need the energy of Quinn. I would love to see him come back. I feel like he would probably be asked to do something else first. If next season is All Stars, I kind of feel like at this point, because we did have All Stars not too
Have
long
we
ago.
ever had an all-star season on an odd number? I'm thinking about it.
Please. I don't know math like that, Chris. What season was 2020?
22.
22?
22 was an all-star season.
Well, that's where, so I guess it will be not that many seasons in between though. I want to see another new one. Or I want to see
They've only had 2.
Oh.
Interesting.
Well, because they've had other ones where people come back and they integrate them with like new people. I kind of want to see one of those.
Well, the first one was BB7. And then the second one was 22.
22, which means they need like 13 years.
I don't think they're gonna. I feel like they won't really stick by it though.
No, I think they're
There's
gonna do what they
enough-
want.
There's enough content and people to choose from to do it another one. They could do freaking 3 straight if they wanted to.
Yeah, they have the power, but they do have to decide, well, what is the best thing
14,
for
16.
TV, because they did so well this time that they're probably sweating right now thinking about what are we going to do next summer to make sure that we continue on this path.
They know that they cooked with this season.
They
I can
did.
tell. There's no way like they didn't. This wasn't like a smash hit with their ratings and stuff like that.
But what if they used all their ingredients?
Then that's why I think an all-star season is very vital. Because it creates like what if scenarios. And I love seeing what if scenarios based off of like things that have already been established.
I feel like people would complain about that though. I feel like they'd be like, "Oh, it's a cop out. I don't want to see the same people."
I can't really see that argument.
I think it could
Like,
go either way.
yeah, I can fathom that argument, but I can't understand why anybody would think that. Because it's still fresh. The only thing that's not is the people.
Yeah.
And if you make a good enough cast, then that's not an issue.
I would like to see one of those half and half kind of things, which is ironic because I feel like the last time that happened, I was like, no, please just don't bring Nicole back or Cody. They're good.
Them. Please
they've been done, but
both of them far away
because they've been here too many times. You could keep them away, but then on the other side, also don't put a Derek back in. Can we leave Derek in?
I don't think
the
Derek
comp that he
wants
did?
to.
I don't think he wants to. I think he was in such a great spot that he needs to be forever in that image.
Yeah, I don't want to tarnish he's like
will not. I will not.
My goat
for
cannot
it.
be washed. Please.
But I am glad that they brought him back for a bit in this competition. For the finale, the final HOH of BB26. I liked the Derek mention, and I don't think it was super cringe either.
No,
I think it was cute.
It was
it
was cool. I loved Derek.
Whatever happened with reindeer games when they had a couple of the players do like the Christmas bit and whatever was going on in the multiverse. I did not like the multiverse theme very much at all. I felt like that was a little bit cringe.
I didn't watch.
I do like Frankie though. But yeah, they haven't mentioned any reindeer games this year. I feel like reindeer games went
probably like a
well, like I feel like it went well. Am I wrong? I don't know.
I don't know.
Fine.
It was just kind of there. Like I remember watching it. We watched it. I actually watched the whole thing compared to the actual season that preceded it. I did not finish that season.
Yeah.
That was like the first one in a long time that I didn't finish actually, which just goes to show. And I stuck through this one, which also goes to show. Partially thanks to being trapped in the diary room.
Yeah, that'll happen. I think right now we're delaying the inevitable of escaping the diary room. I really don't want to let it go. I'm not ready for it to be done. I know the season's been over.
I fear I miss the diary room.
I'm gonna miss this room. Being locked in here, even with the wet couch and the no, actually during this time we got a new chair in the diary room. Before it looked like someone came in here and ate it. And now it's somewhere downstairs.
It was me.
Chris.
I ate the chair.
Dude, you can't do that. Like, I'm sorry, slop was not good enough. This is so sad. I don't want to go. This was a great run. I'm a very music oriented person, and I knew coming to the station I wanted a music show, but I knew if I ever had a talk show, it would have to be about Big Brother. And nobody at the station watched it. I was so disappointed.
And that fateful night.
3
freaking 6, not even 3, way more than 3 hours. That was just the prologue.
It was so funny when we discovered that the other watched Big Brother, and there were whole groups of people that went in and out of the office repeatedly, and they're just like, "Are you still talking about Big Brother?"
Yes.
And then that's when I knew we would have to yap about it on air.
Have a show.
Who knows? Perhaps the diary room will be back for BB27. Like
Oh wait, I have to do it. 27 is my lucky number.
you're like
27 is
Leah.
mine. Oh, I
You
have
a
to
lucky
be on
number.
this next season.
You're gonna apply?
I feel like I should just for the bit.
Big Brother casting.
Just because 27 is literally like my number. I didn't even notice.
Big
I'm
Brother
noticing now
casting.
live on air. Guys, 27 is my number. It's my date of birth, which is why I always use 27 for everything. It's like my thing. So basically you have to cast me for BB27.
BB
I
casting.
have no choice.
You had Leah. I think Leah did great. She was an honorable mention. I loved her, and her number was 26. You need someone for
I-
27, don't you? If you want, but
We're doing the number bit again. I think
and if we're doing the number bit, my favorite number is 28, and so is Quinn. I would you genuinely apply?
Well, I mean, after I
You
I
clocked
think
that?
I literally just clocked that it was the 27th.
Mm-hmm.
And like I feel like I have to now.
Yeah.
Like I have to
I'm thinking about it. I feel like I
just for
you
the
can't for the bit. I think I need to put my name in the hat for the plot.
Yeah.
And then it would be really funny coming out of the show and like seeing what you would post on Instagram and like vice versa. Like I'll be diary room Chris Alberico fan page. Unless you do wrong, then it's a hate page. But so who knows for the future of Big
My
Brother?
father just texted me, "Do it, kid."
I agree. I will be so on social media. It's not even funny. I'd be like, America's favorite player. I mean, whoever ran Joseph's page was fantastic. I'd have to compete with that. Whoever ran a Jags last year, they were fantastic. But
I thought Quinn's was funny too.
Quinn's was funny. I love Quinn left the house finding out about #lesbians for Quinn. Was my favorite. He was like, "This is fantastic." And a little what were the Quinions as they were coined. But though the season is over and the Diary Room WMSC comes to a close for BB26, I'll still be posting a little bit on our social media at thediaryroom.wmsc. I have to catch up a little bit on our goodbye reels. Fun fact, I'm impressed that I pinned some of our best videos, right? And I'm just doing this based on the draft updates. Guess now I've only gone up to so I didn't post the video just yet of Mackenzie or Cam. Unless you're looking at it, can you guess which one has the most views?
I was just about to look at
Do not look at it.
Oh, let me not look at it.
Do not look.
So out of all of the reels that like of the house guest lead?
Yeah, where like the cover image is the house guest.
Oh, the cover image.
Which one do you think did the best to
Quinn.
date?
Quinn?
No.
Tucker?
No.
Cam.
I didn't
Did you
post
do
Cam.
Cam?
Yet.
Oh, I
Not
wasn't
Cam or
sure if you did
Mackenzie.
Cam.
Would you like me to tell you?
What is it? Is it? Can you? Yeah, just tell me.
The most viewed was Rabina.
I was literally thinking that.
What did you say,
I
bro?
was literally. I'm not even like joshing you right now. Like I genuinely was going to say Rabina just because of how outlandish it was.
Yeah.
That was what I was about to ask. I was gonna say, is it someone you would expect, or is it someone you think you wouldn't expect?
I was not expecting that because Tucker was the best one for a long time, followed by Leah, and then Rabina by 836. To
Oh, I'm
date.
seeing this now, and she liked it. That's probably why.
She did. So shout out to my dogs at the crib.
We had a lot of people from the season like our stuff.
I was
remember
impressed
seeing
by it.
that. I remember Cam did at one point.
Matt did
Matt.
for sure. So it honestly too, just having having that kind of, I mean, it's not like we have the biggest account, but having this little social media presence too has been so much fun. There is a Tucker fan account that started following us, and we were kind of like just mutuals. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but shout out to Christian. Also like just to mention some of the podcasts. I'm not a podcast person either, but I was really into, I'm so into the show that of course I'm listening to Rob has a podcast. Shout out to Taryn Armstrong. I got a plush Kellis. That's his cat. And Ori Streams, I'm a huge fan of, has a Discord server that I don't talk in enough. But really gave really concise summaries of the live feeds. I don't have a lot of time to watch them myself, though I do have access to them in my household. Gave a really great summary of where things were, where people's heads were at, especially when we know that the edits aren't always true to reality. And anyone else who runs podcasts, I guess we're one of them now.
Yep.
We're cooler than a
Guess so.
podcast because we're live on air. And anyone who listens to us every week, even when we were on a different day in the summer, that was pretty cool. And even if you're staring at us through the door and your name is Rosh, shout out to you as well. Anyone who watches us on our uploads to any streaming platform, thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure, and I'm delaying the inevitable even more. I'm so sad.
I'm gonna miss the diary.
I'm gonna miss the diary room. It's like when they left Janky World and they're like, oh no. No, they didn't say that. They wanted to go inside the house really bad. But I love this season. Chris, just Chris, thank you for joining me
Mole,
on this
just
adventure.
Mole, not Emily Emol.
So yeah, not Emily, but this is awful. Should I play the theme music to get us out of here?
I miss the diary. I'm gonna miss the diary room.
Gonna miss the diary room until next season.
Whenever, yeah.
Until next season, have a great year, and
Which I don't see.
we're just gonna pace back and forth. We're just gonna pace back and forth until the next season starts. Anyway, love one another.